Me again. I hope we are all having a terrific week. Oh, hold on a second. Got to turn on my recorder. All right. I hope we're all having a terrific week and weekend. Gemma, good morning. Sketty Nona, best to you and your family as well if you're still here this morning. Sketty Nona. There's my friend Cheryl. Good morning, Cheryl. Janice, good morning. I hope we are all doing well. Cement Shoes, good morning. Man, am I well rested. I needed that vacation. It really was beneficial for me. I wish I could have taken photographs, but while I was gone, we were dealing with the haze from the smoke from the wildfires. Um, I tried to take some pictures while I was at the lake, and all you couldn't even see across the lake. It was that bad, and it's not that large of a lake, but it was definitely an experience. Good morning, Jeff's mom. Welcome to this morning's coffee brew. I do not have a recap of crime stories that I've been following this past week. I didn't get back until Thursday, so we're just going to chat and catch up and see how everyone's doing. How's the weather where you are? Maybe there's a something in the crime, true crimes, news out there that you want to talk about. Rackart, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Was it the places that you dreamed about? I always liked Horseshack. Horseshack was my favorite. Vinny, Mysticata, loved that show. Perfect. Brewing some coffee. There you go. I don't know where you're at these days, Rycart, but man, I hope you're not out on the West Coast right now. At least this past week, it was brutal. I came back over White Pass on my journey because the where I was staying at the first 4 days was in Snoqualmie. Then I had to go. I had to backtrack to pick up a friend to take them over White Pass to the golf tournament that I played in. And coming over White Pass was just brutal. You couldn't see around the next turn. That entire pass is just twists and turns. Kitiku, good morning. Good morning, Kitiku. I hope you had a wonderful week. Amy M, there's a lot of things YouTubers aren't covering that I would like to see covered, such as Amy. Let me get a piece of paper out so I can write them down. There's a story out there that you'd like to see covered. 90% of what I do on this channel is viewer suggested, so I'm willing to cover it. You're in Sweet Home, Alabama. Well, that's a good place to be. Gemma, I'm doing great. Well rested. I got my mind in the right place. You deal with all what I deal with every single day. In learning about the depravity of what people will do to each other. It'll eat at you after a while. You just have to like turn off everything and get away from it all. Unlike a lot of people out there, I don't just read whatever comes across in the little blurb on ABC or NBC. I spend a lot of time diving into the backgrounds and documenting the actual evidence, and what really happened in the case. You'd be surprised just how much media slants the coverage for everything. Let's plan to get together soon. Definitely. Missing teacher Laura Manuele from New Jersey. NJ. Reed Duran, like Duran from Ohio, from OH. Well, thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. Reed Durant impersonating a parent at school open house planned on kidnapping a kindergartner. Oh man, that that's it. Well, I mean, it's messed up on so many different things. Uh, I got to tell you a little, side story. So, for those who don't know, my son is autistic. He's 7 years old, and he also is very speech delayed. His total speech vocabulary is probably about, I'd say, 15, 20 words that he says clearly that people can understand. And on Thursday when I got back, I was trying to pick up some. We had some wind, that came and it blew some garbage and leaves and stuff like that in my yard. So I was cleaning them up, and my son was playing, running around in the sprinkler. Now this is my front yard, not my backyard, where I have more control over, if he runs off. Well, he decided to take off, and he didn't go far. He went to the neighbor's house and tried to get into their house. And I turned around and I looked, and he's not where I left him. He's not running in the sprinkler anymore, soaking wet. He decides to go to the neighbor's house for some reason, maybe to see the little boy who lives there. But he took off, and my heart went into an absolute panic. It's like, oh my God, where'd he go? And I ran down the driveway, I ran to the other direction. Then I heard him giggling on the porch of the house the opposite direction. And something like that, kidnapping a child is what, brings it to mind. That's a parent's worst nightmare, is, even if it nothing actually, go to fruition, will scare the hell out of you. I'm a autism mom here too. Totally feel this. Yeah, Jet's mom. Nothing will scare you faster. I mean, a lot of people look at autism the wrong way. And good morning, Gayla, Miss K. Don't want to miss you both, but a lot of people assume that since my son is autistic and he's on the spectrum, that somehow he's not as intelligent as other children. That's not the issue at all. He's just as smart as every other child his age. He's not, a savant. He's not going to hear a musical tone and be able to repeat it like that. He doesn't have any special abilities, but he has every ability of every other child his age. But the only difference is he has barriers that are in place of him actually learning and communicating with the world around him. And I say my son is special because, well, my daughter's special to me is just as much as my son, and she's not on the spectrum. That must have been a very scary experience. It is. It is. Rarely does he go out in front unless we're paying 100% attention to him. We live in a I don't want to say a gated community, but we are in a gated community. And he rides his bicycle around in the street and up and down the driveway with the neighbor kids, because he's got kids who live one house over and then another house over, and they're close in the same age, but they don't understand him when he's talking to them, because what he has a lot of like verbal words that he says, but you can't understand them unless you're me or his mom and his school teachers, which school starts next week again in my area. Autism is a spectrum. He will find his way to communicate in time. Jet's mom, since my son was born, we've taught him sign language. He knows sign language very well, but how many other 7-year-old children out there know sign language? My son does, and he can communicate with his teachers and mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and his sister. And with sign language, we understand what he's saying. But when he verbally speaks it, words, they can't. Most people can't understand him, and they automatically assume, since he's, what he's saying, it is gibberish to them. They assume that he is somehow mentally, disabled, and he's unable to, have a long, fruitful life, which is just absolute hogwash. And I'm sure it's the same thing for your child as well. People want to put them in a box and say this is defective and it's not going to be able to, communicate or have a long, fruitful, and happy life. Now, Gemma is here. I don't know if you follow her channel, but you should. If somebody could drop the link to her YouTube channel, Gemma is on the spectrum as well, and she has the courage and everything else to put herself out there on YouTube. Um, another good channel that if you want to watch one, I'll tell you about every damn channel out there, especially when it comes to the spectrum. Fathering Autism, love that channel. But moving on. I mean, I could talk for hours about my son and my daughter. Most people don't want to hear about my daughter too much because, well, she's an adult. My daughter is 25 and my son's 7. Same mother, same father. Just things came up in between. People with autism are not defective. We will see the world differently. This is absolutely true. Interesting video. Willie Wild, California. Some ominous disappeared there. Huh. So I see Lori Vallow is going to be shipped off to Arizona if she hasn't been already. Thank you, Cement Shoes. My girls are 23 and 11 and 8. Oh, LOL. That's a good spread, Key to Q. Huge gap difference. Yeah, my daughter's 25 and my son's 7. But Key to Q's got a good one there as well, 23 to 8. Sometimes life gets in the way. Gone girl. Good morning. Good morning, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well. Hugs to the family. Hugs to you as well. My hubby is 50 and my sons are 48 and 46. There you go, Gayla. Get one that's younger than you so they can take care of you. My wife isn't that much younger than me. She's 6 years younger than me. But love is love. Between two consenting adults, love is love. You've been married for 27 years. Well, congratulations on 27 years, Gayla. And here's to another 27. Cheers. I hope you and your hubby have another 27 years. Me and my wife have been married for 26. My husband is 12 years younger than you. There you go, Kitty Q. Love knows no boundaries, and you never know where you're going to find it. Pigeon Mac. Good morning, Pigeon Mac. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Don't have any crime recaps for this weekend because I was gone on vacation. I didn't get back until Thursday. Age is just a number. It is, Gayla. It definitely is. 12 years this year. Well, happy anniversary to you and your better half, Kitty Q. You're good. Thanks. Good. Jet's mom, we are very blessed. Stem cell therapy helped Synapses connect for Jet's and speech. I have a massive respect for ADS adults. Huge hugs. Gamma. Yes. We have our son. He goes to he has a speech therapist at school and an occupational therapist at school. Plus, we also have him in private speech therapy that we pay through. Well, our insurance picks up part of it, and then we pay the rest of it. Unfortunately, our insurance company only pays 40% of the speech therapist that classes, and we pay the other 60%. But what's money? I can't take it with me. So when it comes to your kids, I'm sure you're just the same. You know, anything for our kids. Wife and I just sent her parents back to Taiwan. Ooh, they stayed about a month. Now I'm gonna try and go to college. Busy times. Hope you all are good too. There you go, Pigeon Mac. Go back to school. Um, I'll give you a little bit of background on my wife, Pigeon Mac. My wife has been working on her doctorate degree, and she is on year, I think, 13 or 14 right now, working on her doctorate. And it's been a slow, schedule, but there was like a group of years that she had to take off there. Cancer tried to kill her, but she had to take off those years. But she's going to go back soon, and eventually I'll be able to say I'm the idiot married to a doctor. But education, you're never too old to stop learning, so go for it. Will, I've just sent you an email about true crime case. All right, I'll look for it after this is over with today. Mhm. Yeah, cancer sucks. And that's the main reason why there's such a large gap between our daughter and our son in years. Is cancer tried to kill her. I told my wife, you can't get out of this marriage that easy, trying to die of cancer. That's a joke. I mean that sarcastically. I know, but that's wrong. It's the need to development. There you go. Atta girl, Crystal. Yeah, she's been cancer free almost 7 years now. Six years, right in there, in some change. Oh, thank you, Pigeon Mac. We wish you and your wife and your mother and father-in-law who went back to Taiwan. I wish them all the best. Happy travels and safe travels for them. It's passion for both of us. I would love to stream our opinions on it. I think it'd be a great idea, Gamma. The only problem we've ever had is the time difference between where you are and I am. If we can figure something out though, I'll get back to with you on your email after the stream. My mother-in-law, she's a perpetual student. You never have to repay those college loans if you never stop going. Just think of it that way. No easy feat. I did chemo for 2.5 years. Autoimmune disease. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss K. I really truly am. For anybody who's ever had to go through chemotherapy or radiation therapy, I don't have the words to describe just how much of a numb state. First there's the shock and the anger and everything else at the cancer, and then they tell you we're going to give you poison, and we're going to try to kill this before we kill you. And that's basically what chemotherapy is trying to kill the cancer before it kills the patient. And then we you just become so numb, and it's so you never they tell you there's an ending and they tell you what's going to happen, but you never know where the ending ever is going to be. And it doesn't feel like you can't see yourself a week, a month, a year from that date. Where are you going to be? I mean, I know I sound like a complete, idiot here, but I don't know how to explain, the entire event going through it all. It's hard. It's hard on not only the patient, it's hard on the family, it's hard on everybody who cares about the patient. You're on a break. We call it a professional student, never stopping. Yeah, cancer is the worst. Knocks the body. I want to be a pro student. I wish. Yeah. But we got through it. She still has to do checkups, every so often. They go in and they do blood work and everything else because the type of cancer she has. First off, her oncologist had retired, and he came out of retirement to take over her case because it's once in a lifetime type of cancer that she had. She had metaplastic carcinoma of the breast, and she was under the age of 40, where it's almost never seen in anyone that young. And on top of it, though, the way that it attacked the body. I mean, you could be an ecologist in your entire life and never see any case like this at all. So, but now they actually study her in different conferences and stuff. She's not a name; she's just a number. But she's here today. That's all I care about. She's here today. She's alive. She's safe. And tomorrow we get another day. And that's the way we live our lives now. And I've lived my life ever since then because to me, it felt like the cancer killed us both. So my grandma on my mom's side went through all that and even went overseas to try different treatments. Medicine's sure advanced a lot since the 1970s. You and your wife are champs. So glad you're all okay. Hugs, hug. Thank you, Jet's mom. I appreciate it. I don't have cancer. I have three autoimmune disease, but my family high risk. My brother died at age 32, and my dad 4 years ago. I'm sorry, Miss K, of cancer. Mm. Gianna Marie is in the house. Good morning, Gianna. I hope you had a wonderful week, and thank you for joining us this morning. Now, Miss K, just be be thankful for each and every day you have, and move forward. And I hope that there's something along the lines, medical wise, will be able to take care of your autoimmune diseases. It sucks. Sprinkled Donut is here, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to this morning's coffee brew. 5, 8 kids, mother's side, and 3, 5 kids died of cancer. Not a gene. All different. Wow, that sucks. My malignant, it's known as a tumor in my lung. At 21 years old, was not never seen at my age then. Mm, BRCA spelling, the BRCA testing. But we did the BRCA testing. That was it. I know I'm going to screw this up. That is that the one where they can do it through they take a sample of the embryonic fluid. Because before my son was born, we had the testing done, and it came back. They weren't able to tell, and I think we had to wait until much later. I hope she beats it too. I'd miss the hell out of her, but me and Gone Girl have talked, quite a bit in the past, and I hope we do in the future, sweetheart. But when it's time to go, it's time to go, and she knows that I'm going to be here to support her, one way or another. What do you think about the Idaho 4 case, Gianna Marie? Uh, well, hmm. Let's start on that case. Let's start off with, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the University of Idaho, who has been gifted the home that the students lived in, um, and well, it depends upon what, if you believe it or not in the Holy Spirit, but if their spirits may still remain there, but I think it's ridiculous that the University of Idaho wants to tear the house down before the trial and everything else. Now on to Brian Colbert. Do I believe he did it? Yes. I believe he did it for multiple different reasons that I won't get into, but I do believe he did it, and I think a lot of it stems from he truly believes that he is smarter and he could get away with it. But it's a tragic case. Now, I went to Washington State University. I didn't live in the same location in town that he did, where he was living before he actually committed the murders. He lived in what, because I used to deliver pizzas there for Pizza Pipeline. So I'm going to explain Washington State University, Pullman, Washington, from the pizza delivery driver inside of me. Now, Pizza Pipeline is by far the most delivered pizza anywhere. You could throw up a million Domino's and Pizza Huts and Little Caesars. You're going to get Pizza Pipeline delivered all the time. They sell it by the slice and blah, 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 blah. Okay. But, anyways, it's absolutely loved there. He lived in what we used to refer to as the graduate housing unit, is where he lived. Now, there's apartments there and there's actual one-story homes. He lived here. I lived on the absolute opposite side of town in an area that's called Campus Compass North. And there's that CCN, and everybody just calls it CCN or CCS. And then there's Bedrock apartments. People refer to things about how they look. It's like that might be the George Washington Bridge, but it's painted blue, so everybody's going to call that bridge the Blue Bridge. But yeah, he lived over here, and I lived on the other side of town. Not at the same time, obviously. He's a lot younger than I am, but it's a but you can't really tell where Washington State University stops and their actual off campus like agricultural units, because there's a lot of test fields, and then where the University of Idaho starts. So it's really rocked the community there. And I have a lot of friends who work for the university, either in academia or they work in some capacity with the university. And I spent a great deal of my time at the U of I, and I know exactly where that house is, where those college students were killed. And currently, right now, where I sit, I'm about 73 miles away from there. So, but I believe he is guilty as as charged right now. But then again, this is the court of public opinion. It's not a court of law. So worked in a hospital for 5 years before I got sick. Oh, I'm sorry. Back and when I was a little younger man, I mean, I had a good waistline back then. Not anymore. But I used to work in a hospital in St. Louis Park, Minnesota. I worked in a hospital. I worked at as a dietary aide. My job was to bring food up to the anorexia bulimia eating unit, and to the other psych ward. That was my job. I brought it from the kitchen up to those floors. My mom had the BRCA gene. Why did the girl wait to call law enforcement? Fear. That's the only thing I can boil it down to, Gianna. I really think it was fear. I think it's cool that you used to be around the Pullman, Washington area. I'm actually at Pigeon Mac. I'm there 4 or 5 times a year. Here in a month, I will be there in Pullman again for a golf tournament, because I'm a member of the Loyal Order of the Moose It's a family fraternal organization, and uh, I I go up there once a year to play in a golf tournament. That's next month, in September. So in about actually not even a month, about 2.5 weeks, I'll be there again. I worked in a drug withdrawal unit as an AOA clinical from St. Vincent's in Melbourne. Hmm. We'll call you when I get home from the hospital, hon. You do that, sweetheart. Hope I'm around and I'm able to catch it though, Gone Girl. I always every time I see Gone Girl, I want to say your name. But that's your business if I say your name. Sarah Boone should call her, that doctor legal guy who represented Elaine Wernos. Alcohol and other drugs. Yeah, the hospital that I worked at though as a dietary aide didn't have a drug rehab unit. They had an eating disorder and a psych ward, and then all the rest of the floors were regular hospital, ICU, NICU, and stuff like that, intensive care. But I didn't deliver food to those. That was the other dietary aides. My job was just those two floors and those two wards, I guess you could call it. I like the job. They just the new management came in and they kind of went through changes and stuff like that for how they structured our pay. So it was about 5 or 6 of us that all just said, you know what, here's our 2 weeks notice. We're just going to go on to bigger and better things. And then I moved about 1,200 miles away. They're going to have to make those lawyers draw straws to see who gets stuck with Boone. You loved your job though, Miss K. Well, that's good. I, that, I tell my daughter that all the time. If you find something that you truly love, stick with it. It's not really work if you really enjoy doing what you do. I see so many people working in jobs where they're absolutely miserable, but they're like, I got to pay the bills. No, you don't have to work this miserable job. If there's no other jobs in the area, move. I mean, hell, you don't have to have anything. You can go to another town and be homeless and start all over again. Reinvent yourself. Pick a new name. Become somebody completely different. Hundreds of thousands of people do it every single year. They just pick up and walk away and become somebody else. I want to become, a janitor, or I want to become a truck driver. And they just change their names, assume other identities, and start their lives over. Excuse me. Well, the case I sent you is about an autistic guy who killed a police officer here in the UK. Wow, that sucks. Unfortunately, though, here in America, when it comes to autism, even with my own local law enforcement, a lot of the law enforcement here is not trained to deal with autism or those who are on may have other barriers to communication. Maybe they don't understand or are able to communicate back, to the officer. Not all the officers. There's 2 or 3 on our force, and of like I think 15 officers where I live who are trained, and that's it. And it's not even required. It's an optional thing if they want to take that additional training. So there may not even be one on shift, to try to communicate. And if my son was to run off and God forbid, someone and just take him, but law enforcement came across him, how would he communicate with them? What he wouldn't be able to even tell him his name. He would say his name is Taco because that's his nickname. Well, Taco, where's your home? Where's your parents? Yeah, not trained there either. Not at all. I've had many encounters with them. I'm really sorry about that. Nope. I might be mean, but my hubby has a very boring, well-paid job. I'm like, it's okay, babe. Not many guys in their 50s are happy with their jobs. Well, that's true. I mean, I'm not telling everybody to go quit their job. If you're not happy with what you do and it pays well and and helps support the family, maybe that's the only thing you can do. You know, find something else outside of work that keeps you happy. A hobby. Maybe start your own business. Maybe it's part time. Maybe your hubby, works in a smelter, with making steel or whatever he may do. I don't know, and frankly none of my business. Jet, mom. But I'm saying maybe he does that and he hates it. But in his spare time, he likes to go fishing and he's really into that. Maybe a hobby would be making flies, or making fishing lures and selling them as a hobby, or getting into that. See what I'm saying? There's other ways to be happy in this world, and maybe your 9 to 5 job, sucks, but it pays the bills. But there's other things that you can do that where you can do it for yourself, where you're the owner, the proprietor, the one that can push it down the road even farther. So after retirement, it could become an actual real full paying gig that you do and that you absolutely love. I mean, God knows what I'm doing right here. I absolutely love this. This does not pay at all. If I tried to live on this, I would have starved to death 4 years ago. That's the honest truth. I mean, but I love what I do. I love being here and doing this. So I do it because I have found other ways to make money outside of this. They're not trained. Oh, I read that one. I don't know why that one came back up again. It moved all the way up. I want to have a good life balance like that. I have been incomeless for so long now. My self esteem has gone down quite a bit. Well, Pigeon Mac, find something that you love. There's got to be something that you're passionate about. Think about that. I mean, go to school. Don't get me wrong there. I'm a big proponent on going to school, but just understand, what your goal is. Think about what makes you actually happy. Let's just say you have 50 years left to live. What do you really want to do with those 50 years? What's really important? Is it your wife, your children, if you have any, your in laws, your friends? Are they more important to you? And if you could do something just part time, just, tomorrow afternoon, you decided that you wanted to go to Goodwill and you wanted to buy, 3 t-shirts for $3 each. All right. And you wanted to start selling things on eBay, and you wanted to, the first thing you did was you got 3 t-shirts and you put them on eBay, open bid at the same price that you bought them for. Maybe you bought them for $2.99. You start the auctions off at $2.99 a piece, and you list them for free shipping, and you lose money on all 3 of them. So what did you learn there? You learned you got to buy the product cheaper, right? You got to find another way to get the product cheaper so you can make money to pay the listing fees and everything else. What else did you learn? Maybe flat or free shipping is not the way to go. Maybe flat shipping. Priority flat rate, envelope. You can put a T-shirt in that and send it off. It's cheaper than anything. And then you snowball. You build that up. If that's something you're interested, I don't know, but find something that's a passion. You can find ways, even if you have disabilities physically and mentally or health wise. You can find something that makes you happy. I'm not saying it necessarily is going to make you a millionaire, but caring for my wife and your cats. There you go. Is there something about cats that you know a lot about, that certain cats like? You know how cheap it is to grow catnip? Now, imagine if you grew catnip in a container someplace where the cats can't get to it, because cats will find a way to get to it. And then you cut it, put it in a Ziploc baggie, and after you dry it out, and then you sell it. Catnip. I would love to find a catnip supplier where I can get dried, catnip. I would love that, because I've got 5 cats, and that don't necessarily want 5 cats, but I've got 5 cats now. Discourages me, but I will get there eventually. Take it day by day. We're blessed to have good man. He's at the gym now. LOL. It's his thing. We go to Costco today. Run air. Oh, I gotta stay the hell away from Costco. Every time I go into Costco, I gotta tell you this, Jets mom. Every time I go into Costco, I always have I have a list, maybe 4 or 5 items. I get those 4 or 5 items, and then I come out with a giant cart, and then I get it to my car, and I have to figure out how I'm going to put it all in my cart. Costco is like a drug to me. I'm like, well, look at that. I mean, compared to what I pay for it at the store, I mean, it'd be wrong of me to not buy it. I'm saving so much money. Then I got to get home, and then I'm like, well, where am I going to put all this? Well, I only got so much room in the freezer, or in the pantry. I mean, I really didn't need 64 cans of tomato soup, but I mean, look at the price that was for those 64 cans, right? Costco is like a drug to me. I met a guy, he transports rescue dogs and cats. He brought me a rescue dog. He That's really nice of him to do that, Miss K. Right? Well, what we did, we can only in our bathroom, we can only put 4 of them on that little roll. It's like a stand. We put 4 of those on there and one on the roller on the wall. So that's 5. So where do you put the other 35 rolls of toilet paper? Hmm. We actually cleared out a shelf in our linen closet for the toilet paper. And during COVID, when people were hoarding it, I did. I had, I don't know, maybe 80, 100 rolls at one point. Same thing with paper towels. I'm out of soup, Will. I'll trade you for some snow. Oh, ooh, I would do that. I'd do that trade. I do have 2 flats. I don't think they're. I think it's 24 cans to each flat, so 40. I have 48 cans of Campbell's tomato soup because my daughter loves it. My son likes it, but he won't eat the soup. He just dips his grilled cheese sandwich in it and then eats it. And then once his grilled cheese sandwich is done, he won't touch it. Cover full of paper towels and TP. There you go. I mean, it's going to get used eventually, right? Much 3D printing stuff. Hello. You got to make videos. People would be interested. Yeah, especially with 3D printing. I've seen a lot of those out there. You got a whole Mandalorian outfit. Wow, that's cool as hell. Does he do cosplay? As dressing up as the Mandalorian? K Love, good morning, K Love. How are you doing? I hope you've been doing well. Thank you for joining us this morning. I I've been to one Comic Con, and the main one in San Diego. I went to that one there, and I went to another offshoot we have that here that is kind of like Comic Con, and some of those outfits, example like I'm dressing up as a Mandalorian, or I've seen people dress up as everything from cats to foxes. Those are people who are more into was it the Galaxy? I can't remember the movie Dark Side of the Galaxy or Galaxy. They're like animals, but they're actual warriors too. I'm not talking about people who dress up as Furbies, but these are actual characters from that movie as well. Will, anything new with Christopher Watts at Dodge? Yes. That video comes out right after this video, after this live stream this morning, Gianna Marie. So stay tuned right after this live stream. I'm a big Anakin Skywalker fan. That's cool. Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you, Pigeon Mac. Rice roni is the pasta, so we have a lot of excess of that too. There you go. I haven't bought rice roni in a long time. The other day I bought Zatarans. That's for a dinner that I'm making later on this week. It's just so much easier because it's already got the seasoning packet. And I mean, I could make it myself. Red beans and rice. But I'm making uh, tacos and enchiladas later on this week. So after it's not going to be immediately after this. I think I have it set for an hour after this live stream. The video on Christopher Watts will be out right after about an hour. So, um, so right now, if we set our clocks to it, I would say an hour and 3 minutes from now, that video on Christopher Watts will be out. An hour and 3 minutes, and counting down. You make your own rice roni. It's very easy. It is. Well, if you have the skills and the understanding of it. I make a little chicken, not coating or anything, and mix it in with rice roni. It's good. I make something like that, K-Love. It's a hot dish that I take rice, not minute rice, but regular white rice, long grain rice, and with cream of celery, cream of chicken that I've already pan fried in garlic and I cubed up in little pieces, cut up in little pieces, and I throw that all in together and I bake it. When it's almost 100% done, then I sprinkle mozzarella cheese over the top of it. I'm not a big fan of it, but my wife, and the rest of my family, my daughter won't eat it. My daughter's a vegetarian. Me and my son won't eat it. My son's picky. He only eats like maybe a handful of things, but the rest of my family will come over and they'll devour it. And if I make the entire dish. Christopher Watts sucks in NK2. Yes, he does. Yum. You make that too, Gone Girl. It's good. They like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I'll have like a small little plate of it, but they love it. We also make another one it's similar to that, but it's rice, chicken, cream of chicken, and chicken broth. So it's got a can of each, like the thick Campbell soup stuff, and then the broth itself to thin it out, and you put it all in. It's like you can make it in a crock pot or you can make it in the oven, and you just make it and then set the timer, and boom, it's done. Well, I don't know if I'm a good cook, but I mean I'm decent at cooking. I'm pretty much the only person who cooks around here at my house. Unless it comes out of the freezer and it can be microwaved, it doesn't get made by the other people in the house. So I make breakfast for myself and my mother-in-law and my son every morning, and then I make dinner Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I don't make it on Wednesdays and I don't make it on the weekends. I try to be the best I can, Gianna Marie. But like every other parent out there, I make my own fumbles, and I've made mistakes that I can't take back. But I do my best. No parent out there was, when their baby was born, it was handed a book that said, "This is how you raise a child the right way." Every child is different. You have to hope that you have more positives than you do negatives in raising them. Oh, that's nice of you, Jet's mom. I don't brag, but I'm a Hawaiian who grew up in Georgia. I can cook like a motherfucker. Sorry for actually saying it, but yeah, wow, Hawaiian. I had a really good friend. His in high school, his father was Hawaiian, um, but he was Hawaiian and I think Samoan mix. I mean, my friend was not his dad. His dad was Hawaiian. Um, I can't remember, but he was connected something, within the hierarchy of like the political system. But my friend, unfortunately, died of a heroin overdose, and then I think less than 6 months later, his brother died, of a heroin overdose as well. Um, I missed them both, but I've buried way too many people in my life. I'm tired of it. Nobody said you really have to work at a marriage and family. Yeah, nobody said it, but you have to. If anybody, if any of you know, Mrs. Ruchek has a cooking channel. She does. I haven't. I subscribed to it, but I haven't been over there in probably a couple of months or so. I have to start cleaning, but I'll be listening. Well, Kitty Q, I'm about to wrap this up, so you're not going to miss much. Okie dokie is here. Hello, okie dokie, and welcome to this morning's, you know, um, coffee brew. But you can listen to the rest of it and rewind. But I'm about to take off here, ladies and gentlemen. Sad, well, my family always has open coffins. I'm not going to any more funerals, lol. I don't want to go to any more myself, Gianna Marie. I'm tired of it. More, you don't see too many skinny Maurice because the wives all cook them. Good cook, all the girls cook. Bless her heart. I only saw it once. I need to go there again. Is her channel Sandy Rooshcheck? I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to look and pull up my. I'm not. See, everybody right now, you guys are seeing me probably on YouTube or Twitter or whatever you're actually on watching this stream. I'm actually on a third party that's streaming to YouTube, and then YouTube redistributes it out. Right now, I'm filming this in 4K. If you watch this in rewind and this is foggy or it looks like I'm on some ancient technology for a camera, that's the restreaming from YouTube onward. But I'm telling you right now, I am in 4K ultra right now, and that's always ticked me off. Is some of my live streams are perfectly in audio and in video, and then the next one is like in the dumps because they decided not to convert it to 4K. And the only way to fix that is to relist the entire thing as if I was going to do another upload video, to make it 4K. It's called Sandy's Kitchen. Thank you, Lily Rose, and welcome, Lily Rose. I hope you are doing well. And Susan Weaver, my daughter, trained as a classical singer. We go to funerals and she sings. Oh, well, good for your daughter though. A classical singer. That's not easy at all. NK lied a lot on the interrogation. Well, I wouldn't call it interrogation, Reichart. There were so many, things that the police department fumbled when they brought her in to talk to her. It's unbelievable. What they should have done is they should have treated her as if, like they did Christopher Watts and said, look, we think you're involved in this. Not like, why don't you just go ahead and tell us what you want to do? You want to tell us. Give us whatever cell phone you want to give us, and we'll look at those text messages. Oh, you give us your information. Instead of doing that, what they should have done is they should have, from the get go, when they found out that was Christopher Watts' mistress, they should have treated her as if she was part of the actual crime. And they didn't. It was just a friendly conversation. I mean, she laughed in the interrogation room. I mean, I don't know if she was involved any more than she, we know, but I highly doubt that she was there that morning and all the other conspiracy theories around her. But the police absolutely fumbled that part of it. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to take off. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a terrific weekend. Don't forget, tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have True Crime Trivia. This weekend, we are doing the Toolbox Murders. In case you are not familiar with the Toolbox Murders, that was two serial killers who got together and became greatest friends and decided to do their own killing and torture and everything together. Yes, obviously, viewer discretion is strongly advised for this entire thing. But tomorrow at 4 p.m., it's just a friendly gathering of like-minded individuals, like everybody here who's pretty much in the chat here now. We get and all the questions are displayed on the screen with four multiple choice questions. Options is the answer. And it's just for fun. You're not playing against anybody else. You don't have to log in. Doesn't cost a dime. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. In the meantime, everyone, I hope you all have a terrific week out there. So 1 hour and 1 minute from now, the video drops about Christopher Watts. Thank you again, everyone, and you all stay safe out there. Bye.